Keir Starmer's comments at a Ramadan iftar event within the British Parliament have ignited a firestorm of controversy, though the reasons for the outrage may be misdirected. His statement acknowledging the difficult time for Muslims in the United Kingdom, referencing the pain of the conflict in Gaza and the suffering of the Palestinians, has been met with significant backlash. Critics argue that Starmer's remarks failed to acknowledge the suffering of Israelis, specifically referencing the innocent men, women, and children who were murdered in their homes on October 7th by Hamas terrorists, the families torn apart, the hostages still held in Gaza, and the civilians living in constant fear of rocket attacks. Starmer attended the iftar event hosted in Westminster Hall, expressing his gratitude to the speakers of both houses and the all-party parliamentary group on British Muslims for organizing the gathering. He emphasized the unity symbolized by the event and acknowledged the significance of people gathering in homes, mosques, and communities during Ramadan. He also thanked British Muslims for their contribution to the United Kingdom, highlighting their impact on business, education, the National Health Service, and charity work. However, it is his specific mention of the conflict in Gaza that has drawn the most intense criticism. Many perceive it as a selective acknowledgement of suffering, neglecting the pain and fear experienced by the Israeli population. Social media platforms have been flooded with expressions of outrage, with some users accusing Starmer of being reprehensible and out of touch. In other news, Richard Jones, a 50-year-old man, has been sentenced to a minimum of 20 years in prison for the murder of his son's girlfriend, 30-year-old Sophie Evans. Jones strangled Evans in her home in July of 2024, believing she was attempting to scam him financially. Swansea Crown Court found Jones guilty of murder. The court heard that Evans was wearing only a towel when Jones arrived at her home. After attacking and strangling her, he left her naked on the kitchen floor and continued his day as usual. Jones contacted his ex-partner, stating he had assorted the problem with Evans. He believed he was being tricked into signing a tenancy agreement for Evans's home and was concerned about a housing benefit claim she had made. Jamie Davis, the victim's boyfriend and Jones's son, expressed his devastation. Evans's sister, Kerry Quinlan, stated that their lives had been completely destroyed by this senseless act. Jones admitted to manslaughter but denied murder. The jury convicted him of murder. Judge Geraint Walters sentenced Jones to life in prison, stating that he subjected Evans to violence before strangling her. Finally, a migrant couple has been granted permission to stay in the United Kingdom at taxpayers' expense, arguing that gang violence in El Salvador would prevent them from continuing their relationship. The man fled El Salvador after receiving threats from a local gang. He was granted asylum in the United Kingdom due to the risk of persecution if he returned. His girlfriend later traveled to Britain and was allowed to remain after claiming that deporting her would violate her right to family life. An immigration tribunal ruled that the couple's right to stay together in the United Kingdom outweighed the public interest in immigration control. Neither of them is allowed to work in the United Kingdom, and they do not speak English. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp criticized the ruling, stating that gang violence in El Salvador has been substantially reduced. He argued that extending family rights to a girlfriend whom the man is not even married to is a step too far, and that family rights were designed to prevent families from being separated in times of war. Not as a loophole for immigration. The couple originally arrived in the United Kingdom in 2020. But their asylum claims were rejected by the Home Office.